That ain't nothing but the mother's God.
Exactly. So, but you still know, whether it's from the earth or not, you have to know how it affects your body.
Absolutely.
Some people can take mushrooms and, have a really good experience. Some people can't.
You know what the first book was, right?
Are you going to say the Bible?
No, it's the experience. They was just studying nature. They was watching the
Oh,
stars
yeah.
and moon.
That's what people were doing.
Me and you saying, you try that mushroom and if you die, we ain't eating that no more.
Truthfully, we've gotten away from that, and I would love to get people back to
No,
that.
for sure.
I feel like the best time was at the very start of the pandemic when they shut everything down. Because I knew it was serious when they cut the NBA, when they stopped the NBA. When they said, oh yeah, we're not doing any more games right now, so we know what this is. I said, oh, okay, because they've been threatening us with, pandemics since we were young, but we made it through bird flu, we made it through swine flu, we made it through all those flus, but it wasn't until this one where they said, oh, we're shutting shit down. And that's why I'm like, okay, this is serious. But I said all that to say, for that small period of time when nobody was outside, I don't know if you saw, but nature rebounded so fast. People were posting on social media showing the rivers overseas, like in London and stuff like that. They were just like before and after, like, oh, this was so dirty, you wouldn't see anything out here. All of a sudden the water was super clear. There were like geese and all other types of animals that were coming back to the environments. Basically, it just showed that humans can kind of be like a cancer to the earth. And I say that to say that, to speak back on what you were just saying, we've gotten away from that whole looking at the stars, reading the plants, and being in tune with nature and working with nature, to whereas now we're trying to bend nature to our will and make it do what we want to do, and we're hurting it. Whereas if you take that interference out and you go back to being in sync with nature the way we're designed to be, we both flourish. Everybody flourishes. Ourselves and nature all flourishes. And that's how it's supposed to be. And people who are in tune with cannabis and as a plant, as a medicinal thing, and not as oh, I'm trying to get high, you know what I'm saying? When you're in tune with it for the medicine, then you do stay in tune with nature and the earth, and you get that body, you want to take care of things.
Absolutely. I feel like it goes with just like frequency. You could experience something on a certain frequency and there'd be a negative output to you, but you could experience something on a positive frequency and it could feed into you.
And that goes back to the psychedelics. I know people who are scared to try psychedelics, oh, I don't want to freak out. It's just well, what's going to make you freak out is thinking about freaking out. Like you said, your frequency. If your frequency is on good vibes, you know what I'm saying, happy stuff, then that's the experience you're gonna have. You're just gonna flow with it and everything's gonna seem cool to you. But if you're steady worried the whole time that you're gonna freak out, then that's automatically gonna make your mind think of fucked up stuff. That's gonna, if I sit here and think about my worst fear, of course that's gonna lower my frequency.
So we speak about so much manifestation, but we don't understand what the mind really does.
People don't.
Positive as below.
There's so much power in words.
And you spoke something real heavy as far as just the cancer to people. I mean that was heavy. But we definitely can be as much beauty as we have and as we do have.
A lot of destruction.
Absolutely. I mean, great you must destroy, but I do think some of us overfeed it to that.
For instance, one more example.
Go ahead.
Chernobyl. Have you heard of Chernobyl? What happened in Russia with their nuclear plant? If you haven't, there's a show on HBO and you should definitely check it out. So basically, they just had a nuclear power plant where they messed up something and the core melted, and it released a crap ton of radiation into the environment. And Russia was going to cover it up. They were going to pretend like it didn't happen, but there was so much radiation spilling from this thing that other countries were picking up on it. They were just like the wind, you know what I'm saying? Their little tools were going off the chart, there's a crap ton of radiation in the air, what is this about? And they figured it was coming from Russia, so they called Russia, hey, y'all good? We're noticing a lot of radiation over here, and this shouldn't be traveling this far. And Russia's oh no, that's not us. I don't know what you're talking about. The whole time it's dead ass them. And they eventually got it contained and whatnot. But
and this was a what now?
It's called Chernobyl. This was the name of their nuclear plant. And the core basically exploded. It had a meltdown, and just releasing. Yeah, because like they have to have something to keep all that radiation like in check, and so it's just leaking mass amounts of radiation. So if you were even close to it,
underground tomb, they all had.
Everybody who was even close to it, automatic cancer.
Right.
Like, like if you got close enough, you died. If you got exposed to it, automatic cancer. Like there's, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just way super high levels of radiation, bombarding your body, which nobody's body is meant for that,
No, for sure.
And so after they got it contained and whatnot, the whole area is, nobody's allowed over there, you know what I'm saying? And they thought, because the current belief is that if we have a nuclear war, that the land won't be livable for centuries, right? So this place
we had when they said we've had before.
Yeah, so they say that this place has had, a whole nuclear meltdown. And if you were to go there right now, the biodiversity is actually greater right now than before the meltdown. So like right now, there's no people out there, but like nature has rebounded, basically.
Understand.
It didn't take no hundreds of years or anything of that nature. Like there's
It
already.
just took humanity leaving nature alone.
It took humanity leaving nature alone. Exactly.
Tell me something before we wrap it up. I mean, oh my goodness, it was so good.
I know there's so much information.
Right.
It goes by so fast.
I feel like we could have did this for another hour or two.
Facts.
But let's go back into frequency. I mean, I'm loving the energy that we're having here. I'm loving the conversation, the information we're passing. Give me some. I mean, you're just such a bright soul. I mean, give me some for the consumer that you stick with yourself. I mean, I remember I was speaking with one of the young ones back here. I mean, especially in these days, it's kind of hard to stay on task for self. It's easy to kind of follow into the world's wave of time.
I hate that.
It's hard to feed into self. It's hard to say, let me go get totally stoned, start my logo, start what I want to do, want to do my research and actually make it happen. As easy as I make that statement, the action isn't easy.
So I actually hate following the wave of anything. I'm not necessarily contrarian, but if something blows up and is really popular, like I'm more likely to stay away from it than I am to try to join the wave.
Right.
I mean, every so often, you know what I'm saying? I might if it's something I really enjoy, but I really like to do my own thing. So in this case, but in this particular instance, starting my brand, this was what I decided to turn into a career.
Right.
So I gotta make it somehow.
Right.
And I can remember the day I quit my 9 to 5, because I was working like 10, 12-hour days, and making and at the time this was considered good money, but I was making like $11, $13 an hour, before all the post-pandemic inflation and whatnot. And, so it would take me like an entire day, like half of my day to make like $100, you know what I'm saying? Like $140, right? I woke up one day, sold my first 7 for $100, and I said, and it was barely noon, and I said, wow, I just woke up, I already made an entire day's check in one transaction, and I still have the entire rest of my day to myself. So if I don't do anything else today, I already made my day's paycheck.
Right.
So if I do anything else today, like if I make any more money today, then I'm already making tomorrow's paycheck, the next paycheck. I could technically make my whole week's paycheck in this one day. You know what I'm saying? If I have enough transactions.
Right.
And that's when I decided I'm not going back to the 9 to 5. Like I'm for sure sticking with this. Like I'm going. So that's when this turned into a brand. It became more than just, you know what I'm saying? It became a brand. It became a business. It became, okay, what are the steps that I need to take in order to make this into something for real? The same way that Burner went from, you know what I'm saying, the illicit market in Cali and turned it into one of the most well-known brands, the most well-known cannabis brands worldwide, is the same as what I would like to do, but totally so.
I understand. Man, like I said, it's so much we could go through. I appreciate you coming to give me your time.
I appreciate you having me on.
It's a Business Move podcast.
And we can always come back and do a part 2 and continue the conversation.
We gotta do that. We gotta do that because it's so much. I just wanna, what we could even do. Maybe we could do something when we come to one of the sites.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely.
It's a Business Move podcast. Cliff, thank y'all. I appreciate it.
No problem. You have some really insightful questions. I wanted to just say that.
No, and you know what I really wish I would have been able to do, like, and that's why I said we definitely got, not even necessarily do this in the fact, but again, do it in another manner, but now I can go and do my, now that I know who I'm speaking with and understand the conversation, I'll be more, what is the word I'm gonna use, prepared. I was gonna be more, not that I wasn't prepared.
Yeah, no,
but-
this was, trust me, like,
No,
we're
what I
asking
mean by
some
that
very
is
insightful questions.
Nah, it's just, because it's a lot of, it takes this conversation. It's a lot of information that can be passed and taken in.
Facts.
You in a rush? I know Darren,
No.
she gonna smoke. I mean, no,
We can.
Yeah,
No, I'm not.
we have rent this out, but, we done?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I appreciate it.
Hey, can we get some pictures in right quick, man?